about them, the Millstreet Pipe Band, and we made use of the opportunity there to show you just what a lovely part of the country we're in. Well, my next two guests this evening are that rally driver I was telling you about earlier, Billy Coleman, and his brother John, who is also a great football and rugby player. Please welcome them. Well, Billy, was it you that was tootling down the road today when I just a wee bit swished past?
No, it was me and the little Fiat. That wasn't you on that point. What was it, a Nissan 200 or something?
That was me.
That wasn't you.
I wasn't going that hard, though.
Yeah, you think that's a fast car?
Ooh, it does 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds.
Bibi, I've got bad news. I drove a car named a Porsche a few years ago. It would eat that thing for breakfast.
Did it have 170 brake horsepower like mine does?
I should there are any means of transport anyway. As long as I can get down to the local co-op or the local merchant, that's all I want. Why would I be going in a hurry?
Do you mean you're more interested in farming now than in rallying?
Well, I was always more interested in farming, as you believe. I was always a reluctant rally driver.
And how did you get into the rallying then?
Well, I'd say growing up in Millstreet, it was always a great centre for the Circuit of Ireland rally. It always came through here, and I think I probably caught the bug from watching that. And my father then as well, who to this day gives out to me for not leaving in time when I'm going somewhere. He would never leave in time himself. And as soon as I got a driving licence, he had great confidence in me as a driver from the very beginning. As soon as I got a driving licence, I inevitably would do the driving, and of course it was hell for leather to get to whatever match or greyhound race or whatever it was, you know. So sure. I think that was a good training.
You've been so successful. How many times did you win the Circuit of Ireland?
So long ago.
Now tell the truth. No, I can't bear modesty.
It's a long time ago.
3 times anyway. Yeah. And in England, there was a British championship?
Well, I won the British championship, but again, it's so long ago that I've forgotten all about it.
He is so modest, you know? Look, have a look at this. Do you see on our little monitor there? Is that not terrifying, Billy? Is it not terrifying?
Oh, I suppose it must be, or I wouldn't be so grey, Bibi. You know?
What are the worst moments you've had?
Well, probably, that's not too bad if you're halfway up a tree upside down and still hanging from your seatbelt. That's probably when you get a real perspective on the world.
Yeah, the seatbelt is important, and we should say that.
Oh, yes. To be honest, it amazes me how many people you see driving on the road every day still without wearing it. It's absolute lunacy in my opinion. And certainly I wouldn't have survived 6 months in a rally car if without a safety belt when I was starting.
And all joking apart about the tootling along, speed kills too, and we should, I think, take the opportunity to remind people of that. And now on to your brother John for a moment. John, because I know you're a great fan of Billy's here, but your sporting activities actually are rather different. You're a great footballer. How many medals?
Too numerous to mention.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear this. Would I be right in thinking, I haven't got my notes with me, but would I be right in thinking about 5 anyway?
5 All-Irelands, Bibi, with 2 minor, 221, and the senior in 73. But I suppose the fact that I took up football was quite a natural thing for me to do, because probably I felt this act was too hard to follow, so I chose a different line. But coming from Millstreet and from a very staunch GAA background, my uncles from my father's side and my mother's side played football, and to this day are still extremely interested in the game.
And we have some of your colleagues, I think, here with us in the audience tonight.
We have indeed. I'm delighted to say, Bibi, that we have the other 3 of the quartet that time that Millstreet supplied for the 73 final. I'm delighted to see one of the real stylists and attacking halfbacks, Con Hartnett. Next to Con, I suppose the only way to describe Dennis Long was one of the most graceful and elegant midfielders I've seen in my time. And, well, no, I'm stuck for words here, Bibi, for the next guy. Because Humphrey Keller, I suppose the only word that would describe him would be robust. If I could say, Bibi, Humphrey was like a father figure to us playing in those days, because he was the elder statesman. And if we were ever in trouble or the ship was beginning to sink, one look back at Humphrey and the eyes would absolutely set you alight. And it gave us great heart, and we'd be eternally grateful for him looking after us so well over the years.
John, what I can't understand is how you then also went on to play rugby.
Well, I suppose that came about from the fact that both Billy and myself went to school in Rockwell College, and being the great nursery for rugby football that it is.
But it's an unusual combination. The ban must have been lifted at that stage.
Yes, in 1981 the ban was lifted, and it gave those of us that had aspirations for other codes the chance to have a go. And I'm delighted to say, and I'm very pleased to have tried rugby for 3 years.
Have you a preference?
You're putting me in a spot now,
of course.
Bibi. I suppose the most diplomatic way to answer that would be to say that I love both sports, but I suppose to my heart I would say that I preferred Gaelic football for a number of reasons. Being from a place like Millstreet, where football has always been a tradition, I would have to say I'd have to opt for football.
Football. And Billy, farming. Will you stick with farming?
Well, to be honest with you, in the line of business I'm in at the moment, which is tillage farming, you'd want to be a glutton for punishment to stick with it, but I'm still there anyway, and we're hoping that, you know, that they'll give us a better income in the future, in the next few years, but it's notoriously unprofitable. Yeah. But of course, farmers always complain anyway.
Well, you're the first one of them to admit it. That's for sure. I find myself in exactly the same position as I did with my first two panellists. We could talk for hours, but there I'm afraid we have to leave it for the moment. But can I say it's been a joy talking to you both. The Coleman brothers, ladies and gentlemen.